I'm built to win. Applied myself, I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in. Yeah. No time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm in it to win. Yeah. Refuse. Mine, it can't be diffused. If you ain't thinking the same, then we playing by different rules. You can't see the vision, we living at different views. Until we complete the mission, keep getting up, never snooze. I walked a mile in my shoes, had the mind of a fool, chasing diamonds and jewels. Trust me, I was confused. Started minding my business and used my mind as a tool. Ended up finding my purpose and found the time to get to it. They told me I couldn't do it, they told me I couldn't make it. They sold it, could never break it. That's sadly mistaken. I need a piece of the pie, I want it so bad I can taste it. They told me like Toby, keep on running toes, they gon' take a few to lose. Built to win, applied myself, I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in. Yeah. No time for no loss, I pay for the cost, I'm winning to win. Yeah. Refuse to lose, I'm built to win. Applied myself, I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in. Yeah. No time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm in it to win. Yeah. Refuse.
Welcome back to CTC. I'm your gracious host, Carl, and I'm back with another episode. And today, we are going to be recapping championship week. Now, before I do that, I would like to shout out Joe, man. Joe won championship week. He's supposed to be on the show. He couldn't make it for just some unfortunate events. But he did send me his winners. He went 6-3. His wins were Tulane, they were JMU, and they were Boise State on Friday. And then Saturday, he went Texas Tech, Georgia, and Indiana. Now, his losses were Jack State Friday, and Saturday, Miami of Ohio, and Virginia. So shout out to him going for 6-3. Me and Ace both came in second, coming in at 5-4. My wins were the same three as Joe on Friday, so Boise State, JMU, and Tulane. And Saturday, my wins were Western Michigan, Texas Tech, which I don't know if I said that for Joe, but that's what we picked too. Texas Tech, and that's it. Well, my losses Friday was Jack State, and Saturday, I went down with the ship, and the ship burned me. The ship was the Titanic, man. Alabama was a loss. Ohio State was a loss, and I always say you don't bet against Cincinnati, and I bet against Cincinnati and lost, and Virginia was my loss Saturday. So Aces was different. So Aces wins Friday were Boise State and JMU. His wins Saturday was Western Michigan, Georgia, and Texas Tech. His losses were Jack State. They were North Texas. He picked Ohio State and Virginia. So both went 5-4. Joe went 6-3. So shout out to him. He won the conference championship week this week for CTC. So again, shout out to him. Now we're gonna do something different. We're going to introduce the shows and everything after the show. So we're just going to hop right into it. But I wanted to shout out Joe for beating us in record this week. Also, if you take a look, I am 144-79 in college football pick'ems from week 0 to now. So that's over 220 games picked. So, and we got bowl week coming up. We got Army Navy this Saturday. We got the LA Bowl this Saturday, which is crazy. They never have a bowl game the same day as Army Navy, but this year's Boise State Washington will be playing at 8:00 on ABC. Same day as Army Navy, same day as the award show. So that's very interesting. I'm not mad at it. I love an extra game of football, but very interesting to see. We're just going to hop right into it, though. We're going to start with the Conference USA Championship. We're going to start with Jack State losing to Kennesaw State 19-15. This game was very surprisingly defensive. Kennesaw State would score the only touchdown in the first half. Jack State was moving the ball, got in the red zone, ran a play action. Now, I want to say he was throwing to DeAndre Johnson, or no, it was Brock Renstein. He was open in the corner of the end zone, but Caden Creel seen him late. That gave the defensive time a chance to recover. Kind of like the Packers-Bears game at the end of the play. Packers-Bears play at the end of the game. We saw with Caleb Williams going to, I believe, Cole Kmet. Same thing happened. Took too long, seen him late, tried to make a throw, was intercepted. But That was the first half, so it was a touchback. And then Kennesaw State just drove right down the field, scored a touchdown, being their only points in the first half. Kennesaw State would then in the second half drive down, get a field goal, then get stopped on a 4th and goal, which I thought was a touchdown. I'm pretty sure everybody thought that 4th and goal at the one was a touchdown by Mario Odom, but it was called stop short. But it led to a Kennesaw State safety going up 12-0 late or early in the 4th. And I honestly thought that game was over. I'm like, oh, it's done. Jack State, man, just every mistake can be made. Every time that they got some momentum, something happens to kill it. So I thought it was over. But the ensuing punt, Kennesaw State fumbles. Jack State recovers. They go in and score. Then they force another punt. Jack State scores again to go 15-12. And now I'm feeling good. Like, yeah, Jack State about to be back-to-back champs. Oh, I'm happy about this. Like, I've developed a special place in my heart for Jack State, man. So I'm super happy. I'm ready. Like, yeah, all we need is one stop, Jack State. We can run the ball, run the clock out. Jack State did not get that one stop. Jack State forced a 3rd and 27 off of, I want to say an intention. No, he was sacked. It was a 3rd and 27. It was about to be intentional grounding, but his knee was down. And they give up 26 yards on 3rd and 27 to force a 4th and 1, and Kennesaw State absolutely gets it. Then you get a 4th and 14 after that conversion. And they sent the house at Amari Odom, but he breaks the pocket to the offense's left. And he gets the first down. And on top of that first down, he gets an extra 15 with a late hit out of bounds. And Kennesaw State will go in to score. And Jack State will have a terrible last drive to win the game. I don't even think they got a first down. They went backwards. And that's how the cookie crumbled. Kennesaw State gets their first ever Conference USA Championship win. So congratulations to Kennesaw State, 2nd year in the conference, first Conference USA title. Huge turnaround, having only 2 wins last year to becoming Conference USA champs. It was a great season for them, and they got one more bowl game, and I'm excited to see it. We'll move on to the Sun Belt Championship. I don't know why this is. Oh, never mind. The Sun Belt Championship game, where JMU outlasts Troy 31-14. Now, this game was close. Don't let the final score confuse you. This game was close throughout. Troy scored the first touchdown, actually. JMU scored the first points. They got a field goal, but then Troy would come down and score their first touchdown, going up 7-3, but JMU would quickly respond with a touchdown on their own, going up 10-7 before Troy, I believe Troy took the lead. No. JMU would score again, going up 17-7, and Troy would score their last points in the second half, going up, making the game 14-17. And that was the score throughout the entirety, of the second half for real. Until Wayne Knight broke a big run late in the, I want to say mid-4th in the 4th quarter. He broke a huge run. And then Alonzo Barnett broke a run of his own right after to score a touchdown, going up 24-14. Then on ensuing drive, JMU will force a strip sack fumble, recovered by JMU and taken for a touchdown. I want to believe Samir West is the one that forced it. But picked it up and scored, went up 31-14, and then Troy's last minute. I mean, the game was over. They just still got the ball back. Didn't really do nothing with the ball. And JMU would go on to win the ball game 31-14. But I would love to give a shout out to Troy. They definitely made this a ball game. And I know when I was talking on the show, I was like, I don't know if I was taking the 23.5 points. I was talking about Troy. I was thinking about taking Troy plus 23.5. I figured that was too many points. And, I mean, they covered. I didn't take it. I didn't touch this game at all. But they covered. So, shout out to them for that. They showed why they should have been here. I feel like if Southern Miss was here, JMU probably would have ran it up even more. So Troy just bounced back like the heart of a champion that they have. I mean, now granted, the coaching staff is in there, but I believe Goose Crowder was on those teams that won. So I do want to shout out Troy for a hard-fought battle, but JMU ultimately gets it done. Shout out Coach Chesney. He gets a Sun Belt title on his way out. He will still coach in the playoffs because JMU did make the playoffs. So shout out to them for that. They handled their business and made the playoffs. And I, for one, am not mad at that. I know it's a little side backstory. I was supposed to go live at 1. I was sitting here at like 12:55, doing my banners, all that. And I got sidetracked on Twitter about all these hate tweets about why the G5 got 2 teams in, which I'll talk further into that when I talk about the ACC Championship game. But yeah, man, I'm excited. I don't care if they get blown out or not because we had blowouts last year in round 1 with SEC teams and ACC teams, and nobody cared. Nobody complained. Nobody cried. So Yeah, shout out to JMU winning the Sun Belt, their first ever Sun Belt championship because they were an FCS school, just like Kennesaw State was an FCS school, and they got it done. And now, granted, you might be saying why Signetti ain't get it. They weren't eligible when Signetti was there to play for the Sun Belt at the time, so that's why. But shout out Coach Chesney, man. Good luck in the playoffs, and then good luck at UCLA. But we'll move on to the AAC Championship game, where Tulane defeats North Texas. Now, Tulane forced 5 turnovers, and that's how I said Tulane was going to win. They were going to have to force turnovers and run the ball. And shout out Jamari McClory. He had an extraordinary day on the ground side. I mean, spoiler alert, he is on major performances. He had a spectacular day. I won't say his stats. I'll say that for the major performances part. But spectacular day on the ground. I thought it might have been Hyven Gordon who had 11 carries. He only had like 26 yards, but Jamar McClure definitely took over in that backfield, had a game. Drew Mastermaker, man, a day I know he wish he could have back 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, including one in the red zone. North Texas did try to make this a game, late game, scoring back-to-back touchdowns after throwing a pick in the red zone. But Tulane did a masterful job when North Texas cut it to a 10-point game, going on a 6-minute field goal drive, taking a ton of time off the clock, not giving North Texas much time left. And I believe they took all their timeouts on that drive. So just a masterful drive by the Tulane Green Wave and killing the clock when you're up 10. And now it all started with, I believe, with defensive pass interference. That did start it off, but hey, still got it done. And Tulane, just like I predicted in the preseason, is your AAC champs. They too also made the college football playoffs, which I am also excited for because hey, they handled their business. I think what a lot is lost in these whole discussions about teams not making the playoffs or teams shouldn't be in is that I think what's lost in all this is handling your business. Teams didn't handle their business. And shout out to, and I know they have nothing to do with this episode, but I saw Clark Lee say that he's not blaming anybody, that they had shots at both Bama and Texas and they didn't handle their business. And I think that's the right way to look at things. You control your own destiny at the end of the day. And if you lose games, this is your fault. So shout out to Coach Lee, man. Shout out to Vanderbilt. But ultimately, shout out to Tulane for getting the job done, making the college football playoffs, and good luck against Ole Miss in the rematch. We're going to move on to the last championship game. That was Friday, the Mountain West Conference Championship game, which Boise State absolutely destroyed UNLV. Now, UNLV did make it a game at one point, coming back down 28-21, but then Boise State will rattle off the last 10 points to keep UNLV at bay. They went up as much as 21 donut, just like last year. And then I was like, dang, this is about to be like last year. They go up 21-0. Offense kind of stalls out. UNLV scores a touchdown, but it won't matter. But that's not really what happened. UNLV, like I said, came back, got it as close to 28-21 before Boise State went on a touchdown drive right after that, killing clock. And then UNLV punted on 4th down. Boise State punted, but they just couldn't get any scoring going after 28-21. Boise State kicks a field goal to make it a 3-possession game. And that basically was the ball game. And shout out Coach Spencer Danielson, man. Ever since he's taken over at Boise State, they've won the Mountain West. He took over 2 years ago. Well, I'm gonna say 2.5 because he took over, midway through the 2022-2023. No, this is 25-26. So midway through the 23-24 season, they were middle of the pack. They won out. Ashton Genty was like the only player. This is when they had like Taylor Green and Maddox Madsen continuously batting for that quarterback spot. But I think he ultimately gave it to Madsen. And they won the Mountain West, came back, won the Mountain West that year. Then obviously the Genty breakout year where they won the Mountain West. And now he wins it again for the 3rd year straight. So shout out Coach Spencer Danielson, man, and Boise State getting it done. 2nd year in a row, they beat UNLV. I can't remember who they played when they won it the first time. I want to say it might have been UNLV too, to be honest. But definitely got it done. UNLV just can't get over that Mountain West Championship hump. I don't know if UNLV off the top. Let me look right now because I know Boise State is going to the Pac-12. If UNLV is going to the Pac-12 too, then man, that kind of sucks. Let's see. No, UNLV is staying in the Mountain West, so maybe UNLV can get over that hump. I just want to make sure Boise State is going to the Pac-12. Boom. My mic's kind of in the way. Yep. Next year, they're moving to the Pac-12 with Colorado State, Fresno State, San Diego State, and Utah State. So this is their last year in conference play, and what a way to go out, man. Getting a conference championship game win over your belt. So shout out Boise State. They did not make the college football playoffs, however, which, I mean, was to be expected. But still, they got a bowl game this Saturday coming up. They got a conference championship game. You win the bowl game, it's a hell of a season. Hell of a season. So we'll move on to the Big 12 championship game, one of the first games on Saturday, where Texas Tech just dominated. They just dominated BYU. Point blank, period. Enough said, man. BYU did strike first with they didn't strike first. Texas Tech struck first, but they struck the first touchdown. And that'd be it. They went on a 14-play, 90-yard drive. And I'm like, okay, BYU came to play. This might go a little different. No, it went exactly the same as the regular season. They came out, played hard, but in the end, turnovers did them in, and the game got ugly. Now, I will say this score don't represent the game. For the most part, this game was like 13-7 for a long time, Texas Tech. If BYU could have just got any momentum, maybe a lucky break, a big play, something of the sort to score a touchdown, maybe this game went different. But Ben Roberts, who, in my opinion, should have been defensive MVP, I don't know if he won it or not. I didn't stick around to see if he did. I'm assuming he did. He caught his first of 2 interceptions, which led to a Cam Dickey touchdown run to put them up 21-7, which, by the way, that's piss poor effort on that 2-point conversion by the BYU defense. You had Terrence Carter surrounded by 3 BYU defenders, and he got through all of them. Everybody missed. I don't understand how that happens. Can't happen if you're BYU. Then it just got ugly. Ben Roberts catches another interception, another one-handed pick. The first one wasn't one-handed. The first one, he tipped it up and then got it. The second one was one-handed. Just turnover after turnover. You forced a fumble. It was just turnover after turnover for Texas Tech. For BYU, and Texas Tech ended up dominantly winning that game. Shout out to them being a top 4 seed, getting a bye week at the number 4 seed. I thought they should be number 2, but I can also see why Ohio State stays at number 2, just losing to now the first ranked team in the country. I can get that, but nonetheless, they get a bye week and they get a Big 12 championship. Shout out Coach Joey McGuire on a great season. I had Texas Tech being 10-2. They finished 11-1 before, winning, so 12-1. But great year to them. BYU, I'm sorry, man. I know it hurts winning 11 games, but I feel like getting blown out in your conference championship while already being out of the college football playoffs did not help your case. I can get it, though. We won 11-1. You beat Utah. You beat the teams in front of you. Your only loss is literally to the 4th-ranked team in the country. That's your only loss. It just sucks. Somebody's got to be eliminated. But Taki bounced back from this. We move on to the MAC championship, and shout out Western Michigan winning their 2nd MAC title. They won one in 2016. They got it done against Miami of Ohio. Jalen Buckley to start the first half on 3rd down just breaks a long 69-yard touchdown run. Let me double check my notes. I want to say 69. Where is it? I don't see it. All right, here we go. Yeah, 67. 67-yard touchdown run. Hopefully ain't no kids watching. But after that, Miami of Ohio will come down and score a touchdown. Their own Cam Perry catches an amazing catch on the sideline. Ruled incomplete at first, but it didn't overturn. It was a crazy catch by Cam Perry. Miami of Ohio will go on to capitalize and score. But then Western Michigan will go on to kick 3 field goals in the first half to go up 16-6 after a botch. Miami also did botch the extra point. The kick just never left the ground. It was kind of like a Young Ho Quay movement, but it wasn't worse. At least he kicked it, but it was kind of like that. Then Western Michigan to start the second half. Jalen Buckley again, 64 yards to start the second half. Gone to put them up 23-6. And Henry Hessen comes in. They do get a touchdown. They maybe have a chance late to get it done, but they ultimately don't. And Western Michigan just holds on. Dominant defensive performance, like I figured it would be by Western Michigan, as they go on to win 23-13. It was a defensive game like I thought. And I figured the fact that they didn't have Daquan Finn would hurt them. Brock Lowry had a decent game, but shout out Jalen Buckley, who was clearly the MVP of this game, breaking those 2 runs and getting the job done for Western Michigan. We'll move on to the SEC Championship game, which was pretty much a letdown. The SEC Championship game was a letdown. Georgia dominates this game 28-7. Now, in my opinion, I thought Bama should have been left out, not because they lost. I felt like you shouldn't punish them for losing. I said this Friday, but because of how they played. They got embarrassed on national TV. They didn't even look like they belonged in that game, if we're being honest. Georgia just straight up smacked them 28-7. They started off the scoring with a block punt leading to a touchdown. Then they catch a pick. I think it's Dylan Everett catches a pick leading to another touchdown. They go up as much as 21-zip before Alabama scores a touchdown, mid-fourth, early fourth, 21-7. Did absolutely nothing. Georgia would then respond after Ty Simpson misses a 4th and 2 out route wide open. He just airmails it. And Zach Branch would score late 28-7. This game was terrible. It was honestly terrible. And it was terrible because of how good Georgia was and how bad Bama was. I don't want to say it was terrible and not give Georgia the credit. It was terrible because they showed we are the cream of the crop when it comes to the SEC. But this game, lightweight, made me want to make, and I felt like I should have picked Georgia again. I just went down with the ship. It lightweight made me think that, dang, maybe I wanted Auburn to win the Iron Bowl so Bama wouldn't be here because this game was terrible. But ultimately, got to give Kirby Smart his flowers. He's overcome a lot of Bama demons in this SEC championship game. He was 0-2 against the board. I think 1-7 against Bama, period. And they even showed a graphic where Georgia's like dominant when leading at halftime, but he was 0-3 against Bama when leading at halftime. So that monkey's off his back as well. And just, shout out to Georgia, man, getting another SEC championship on the way to the college football playoffs where they earned a bye week as the 3 seed in the tournament. So shout out to them. But I ain't going to spend too much on this game. We're going to move on to the Big Ten Championship. And now this is the game. This was a game. This was a very defensive game. Indiana struck first with a field goal. Ohio State would then score a touchdown. Now, with this game, Julian Sayin did throw a pick first, which led to the Indiana field goal. Mendoza would throw a pick. But this was really a good play by the defender. So he throws a pass behind the line of scrimmage. The defender hits him before the ball gets there. But it's not PI because the ball was behind the line of scrimmage. So it's a legal play leading to a Davidson Igbinosun interception, which led to a Cardinal Tate touchdown. Indiana, I believe, Ohio State would go up as much as 10-3 before Indiana ties it in the second half with an Elijah Surratt touchdown. No. It'll be 10-6, excuse me. Charlie Belcher had an amazing game. Catching deep passes. He caught a deep post shot leading to the Elijah Surratt touchdown. He caught the game-winning, game-sealing 3rd and 5 deep ball on late in the ball game, which was a ballsy play by Cignetti to call a go route there. But Charlie Belcher and Fernando Mendoza executed at a high rate. Belcher just had a great game. Surratt caught an amazing touchdown. I believe it was a slot fade. We love a good slide fade on CTC. So, yeah, man, just a great game. Ohio State did go for it on 4th down, and I thought he got it, but the refs overturned the call. That was one blunder, and I'm not saying blunder as in cheating. I'm saying, like, they just didn't get it. They went for it, didn't get it. That's a blunder. Then the kicker misses a 27-yard field goal because of the angle. I said it in my room before he missed. I said, man, college kickers and angles, this ain't easy. And he shanked it. He shanked it completely to the offense's left, wide right if you're the defense. And that was ultimately big because he could have tied the game. Indiana killed a lot of the clock. Ohio State didn't get the ball back until like 8 seconds left. And they couldn't move the ball. I mean, there's so much you could do with 18 seconds and no timeout. So Indiana gets the first ever Big Ten championship game win. Emphasis on game. I know they've won a Big Ten championship before any of us probably were born, but they never won the Big Ten championship game, which was made in 2011. So they get their first ever Big Ten championship game there. They have a 13-0 season. And Cignetti, man, shout out to you. Me at CTC, we always believed in you. Always believed in you. Gave you an A+ higher. I told you. I will say, you surpassed my expectations. But I knew this was a great hire for Indiana. I knew he would do great things. I didn't see a Big Ten championship this early. I didn't. But I didn't even see them competing for the natty, period. I thought he was just going to be a great coach at Indiana, get get wins, show people why he's a great coach, probably even move on. I thought he was going to use this to move on to a bigger program, but he's even exceeded my expectations. But I did tell Joe, Cignetti is one of the best coaches in college football before he's done all this. And Joe can attest to this. Me and Ace, we've always been on the Cignetti train, which is kind of why we've been, when me and Ace do episodes about the group of 5, that's why we were talking about JMU so much, because of Cignetti. So, yeah, shout out to them boys, man. And this is why I had Indiana going 11-1. I had them only losing to Oregon, which they won that game. So I had them going 11-1 this year because of Cignetti. So, yeah, again, shout out to Cignetti, man. I think he's the best coach of college football. You can say I'm living in the moment. I've been thinking this for some time now. This is not just because he did this. I've been thinking this for a while. So I'm not living in no moment. He's just proving me right as we go on. So shout out Cignetti. Shout out Indiana. And, hey, Michigan State's clearly not in the college football playoff. They're not even in the bowl game. Unless, hey, man, a lot of them teams been declining. Michigan State might get a chance. I'm rooting for Indiana to win it all. I'm going to just let y'all know right now. I'm rooting for him to win it all. But we got to move on to the last conference championship game, which was the ACC Championship game, which was everybody's favorite game, right? Yay. No. Duke wins this one 27-20 in overtime. And I'm not going to lie. I thought Duke had no shot. I thought they had no chance. I thought this Virginia defense would smother Duke. They did a great job in the first game at Duke. I thought they would smother the run again. But, hey, Duke said no. We're not gonna go for it again. You gonna feel this. And they first drive, they came out and scored. Virginia came out, I believe, Virginia came out, didn't score. No. I think they both came out and scored, from my memory correctly. No, they missed the field goal, down 7-0. So they went down and missed the field goal. But then Darian Minster did throw an interception, which would lead to Virginia tying the ball game. I'm like, all right, 7-7, okay. This is where Virginia kind of takes over. Duke threw the pick. Virginia got momentum. But no, this is where Duke then goes on a long drive, converting third downs, converting fourth downs. I believe this was the drive where they went like 4th and 7, and Virginia jumps off sides, forcing a 4th and 2. Duke goes for it and gets it. Then 2nd and like 9. Everybody and their mother is surrounded. Nate Shepard, and he just breaks out of there for a touchdown to go up 14-7. And this one, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Duke might actually win this. Virginia ain't come to play. That defense ain't come to play. And I get it. They're missing Cam Robinson. And then the replacement Marcellus, he also kind of got banged up. But there's no excuse for that one on that second down touchdown run. There's no excuse for that. Then both teams start the second half with field goals. And then for real, Duke kind of slowed down on the scoring. But Virginia did too, and Virginia really didn't capitalize until the end of the game on that last game-tying drive by Chandler Morris, which was a great drive by them to tie the game. And I thought Duke might take a shot, and if nothing happens, then take a knee, but they just took a knee and took it to overtime. And it turned out to be the right call because Duke scores on overtime fairly easy. They scored fairly easy. I don't think it was hard at all. And then Virginia comes out and on the first play runs some trickery, and Chandler Morris throws a pick, leading to Duke winning 27-20, leading to the chaos we have now. So, in my opinion, first of all, shout out Duke for winning the ACC. This is the first time they ever won the ACC. Second time they've been in the ACC Championship game where they got spanked by Florida State. But they got it done nonetheless. Shout out Coach Manny Diaz getting it done at the ACC level. But this is why we have 2 Group of 5 schools in. Virginia wins. JMU is not in. They are eliminated. But because the ACC is full of teams who can't handle business, Georgia Tech is included in this. Miami kind of included in this because they should have been they were the best team in the ACC. They should have been in this game, but they couldn't handle business when need be. They don't have representation except for Miami being an at-large bid. So for all those complaining about JMU, I don't see much slander being sent towards the University of Virginia for not handling business and winning the ACC and making the college football playoff. This is all University of Virginia's fault. Let's not get this misconstrued. University of Virginia wins. They're in over JMU. Tulane gets in from the automatic Group of 5 qualifier. JMU has no shot. So y'all need to be mad at the ACC and not be mad at the committee or JMU or Tulane. Those 2 teams handle business. Virginia did not, and now you got what you got. So I need to see more slander or whatever you want to call it sent to the teams. Let me not say slander, but, if you're going to blame anybody, let me say that. If you're going to blame anybody, blame the ACC, blame Virginia. Do not blame these group of 5 schools who handle their business. So that's pretty much it with that. I just had to get that off because I just see a lot of people saying, oh, these group of 5 schools, we got 2 group of 5 schools. It don't matter. They're going to get blown out. Why we wasting spots with them? And nobody's saying, well, why didn't Virginia handle business and beat Duke? Why didn't the ACC handle business and have a better championship game with better championship opponents? All this other stuff. Duke could have been eliminated. They beat Wake Forest. Still could have been eliminated if SMU beats Cal. Did not happen. That's another team you can blame. Blame SMU for blowing the comeback, going to be up 35-31, blowing the comeback to Cal. Blame SMU. Blame Virginia. Blame SMU. Do not blame these Power 5 schools for handling their business. It's not fair to them, and it's not fair to let a Power 4 conference off the hook for not handling business. So that's all I have to say about that. But again, congratulations to Diaz and Duke for winning the ACC Championship game. Now we're going to move over to our major performances before we head out. I only got 6 players, man. Short list. We're going to start with Jamar McCool. Miles Cole. Wayne Knight, a running back for James Madison, 21 carries, 212 yards and a touchdown. Charlie Becker, a receiver for Indiana, 6 catches, 126 yards. Jeremiah Smith, a receiver, Ohio State, 8 catches, 144 yards. And Jalen Buckley, a running back for Western Michigan, 19 carries, 193 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So congratulations to those 6 players for major performances. Now, before I get out of here, I would actually like to like, comment, share, subscribe. It helps the channel. It helps the network. It helps my channel, CTC. By way of the Refuse to Lose Network. We also got shows on the network, so please like, comment, share, subscribe to them as well. We have the main show featuring Joe, Tomo, and Dave every Tuesday and Friday between 7 to 8:30ish, which I got to take the show of shame tomorrow. Ravens lost to the Steelers, so you can catch me on there doing the show of shame. We got Unfazed every Tuesday, 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central, featuring Joe and AJ. The Eagles play tonight, so I'm pretty sure that's going to be a topic tomorrow. The Commanders are officially eliminated, even though, in my opinion, I said they were eliminated before the Lions game. Which Joe, if you're watching, might bring that up tomorrow. So that's going to be an interesting show there. We got BWT baseball with Teddy. Baseball, I don't know what it's called, but it's like the world. I don't want to say the World Series, obviously, because that's the championship in baseball, but some world thing going on with baseball. Teddy could explain that more. But just be on the lookout for episodes by Teddy. We got fantasy football with Coach Coombs, week 14. And tonight, some people some people fantasy league playoffs start after today. So they start next week. So get your last little tidbits and waiver wires from Coach. We got RBO Real Ballers Only featuring Vaughn, Dave's Doghouse by Dave. And we got In the Red Corner featuring Ty, Ricky, and Tomo, who went live yesterday, which about that. I know I said in my reaction show to the college football playoff bracket being revealed, which is why we didn't have poll talk. I have a whole episode about it. Go look. That was going to be live yesterday in between Sunday Night Football and the 4 o'clocks. Even after promoting In the Red Corner and saying they might go live at around that time. So that was my fault. I promoted In the Red Corner, said they possibly going to go live because I heard there was a lot of boxing going on Saturday. They obviously went live because there was a bunch of boxing going on. So I was like, nah, I can't go live during their segment. Like, no, let them do them. So that was on me. I just had a slow moment, which is why I'm going live today. So shout out to them boys, all that boxing content that they do. They're on top of it. Make sure you listen to them if you love the sport of boxing. I just had a slow moment. And that's all the shows we have on our network. So please like, comment, share, subscribe. And if you like what you're listening to, stick with us. Now I will be back. I'm going to say Friday. I already got Army Navy written up. It's already written up. I'm waiting on opt-outs for Boise State, Boise State, Washington. And I got to go and do a award show. I think I'm going to just combine the two and do an award show. I might even do it Saturday morning because Army Navy's not till 3:30. But I'm going to go over the awards and the finalists and pick who I think will win the awards. So that's all going to be one episode. And then we got bowl week next week. Bowls officially start Saturday, like I said, because of Boise State, Washington. But bowl week is also Tuesday against Troy and Jack State. So we got that coming up. So I'm excited for that. But y'all enjoy the rest of y'all Monday. Ain't no real college basketball today. I mean, if you want to watch Texas versus Southern, that's probably it. College basketball really comes back tomorrow. You got Clemson, BYU. You got Michigan, Villanova. You got why am I blanking? Oh, Florida, UConn. That should be a really good game. With that one at a neutral site, kind of neutral because that Madison Square Garden, and which I don't believe that's that far from Connecticut, but it's super far from Florida. You got one more game. Illinois, Ohio State, Big Ten play there. So you got some games Tuesday. Today you just got, like I said, Texas Southern. Maybe Incarnate Word in New Orleans might be a cool little game, but it's really nothing here for you to see in college basketball today. Let's see if we can find another matchup tomorrow that I like. So we go through the schedule. Nah, that's pretty much it. The games I named is pretty much the games. You got Penn State, Indiana, which might be a game. That might be a good one. So maybe tune in. But that's all I got for y'all today. I will see y'all Friday or Saturday. I'm gone. Peace.
Thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all in the next episode.